Over the past 2 weeks, we've witnessed the Middle East engaged in an unprecedented direct conflict between Israel and Iran, with both nations exchanging devastating missile strikes and a growing number of civilians caught in the crossfire. During that time, the US has intervened by bombing key Iranian nuclear sites, resulting in a fragile ceasefire brokered by President Donald Trump. On ODN, we've charted the conflict since the very beginning, tracking each major escalation, key turning point, and the lasting impact it's had on residents. Here you can watch our full series beginning on June 13th, when Israel launched a massive military operation targeting Iran's nuclear facilities.
ساعت الان 3:37 ورودی فرحزاده پایین یه ساختمون مسکونی رو زده شده.
امروز چپ بیاد اینجا رو میزنن، رامز چپ بیاد اینجا رو میزنن. بابا چیا؟
اگر فرصتی میشد تا شما به ایران می آمدید
طرف آمریکایی که در این مذاکرات غیر مستقیم وارد صحبت میشن، گفتگو میکنن،
نیاوران
اینجا رو زدن، اینجا رو هم زدن، این لویزان هم زدن، پشتم زدن، پشت لویزان هم زدن.
חיילינו, טייסינו, מעל שמי איראן. איראן תשלם מחיר יקר מאוד על רצח אזרחים, נשים, ילדים, שהם עשו בכוונה תחילה. אנחנו גם נשיג את יעדינו וגם ננחית עליהם מכה אחת אפיים.
That's for years, 10 years, 12 years, whatever we make it. But we can't get this guy to do it.
He has forged a legacy of unmatched courage, untold sacrifice, and unequaled.
President Donald Trump has ominously warned that everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. His statement came shortly before he left the G7 summit a day early because of escalating tensions between Israel and Iran. Attacks between the two countries have intensified over the last 5 days. Iran has launched large-scale retaliatory strikes that have targeted Israel's major cities, Tel Aviv and Haifa, killing civilians and destroying vital infrastructure. While Israel has continued its bombardment of the Iranian capital and other military sites. This footage shows the moment an Israeli missile struck an Iranian TV studio during a live broadcast. 2 employees were killed in the blast, according to state media, and Iran denounced the attack as a war crime. Israel initiated Operation Rising Lion last week after intelligence suggested Iran was close to producing nuclear weapons, with President Benjamin Netanyahu comparing Iran's activities to cancer.
אתה יודע שיש לך סרטן שעומד להרוג אותך. אתה עוקר את הסרטן. אתה עושה גם טיפולים אחרים, ויכול להיות שהוא יחזור יום אחד, אבל אני מעריך שאנחנו מרחיקים אותם, בוא נגיד, הרבה זמן.
The Trump administration has firmly denied direct involvement in Israel's military strikes against Iran, but an American warship capable of intercepting ballistic missiles has been sent to the Middle East in case of a large-scale response from Tehran.
Israel can fully eliminate the threat that Iran poses, this nuclear threat that they pose, without the United States military help.
Who said that?
No, I'm asking if you believe they can without
It's irrelevant. Something's going to happen.
Have you spoken?
People in Tehran have faced long queues at petrol stations as civilians head to the border to escape the fighting.
Güvenlik, bombardıman elirler. Çocuklarım, küçük çocukları var, torunlarım var. Onları götürmüşler, evləri Tehran'da. Onları bekliyorum. Gelsinler gidək Türkiye.
President Trump said his return to Washington, D.C. was unrelated to a ceasefire, instead stating it was much bigger than that in a post on Truth Social.
Specifically is better than a ceasefire. What are you looking for here?
And then a real end, not a ceasefire. And then,
So something that will be permanent.
or giving up entirely.
More than 200 people have died in Iran, and about 24 have been killed in Israel since the attacks started.
به کسی بکنم که از تهدید اونها میترسه. قاعدت‌ها که امروز به حمدالله با قوت با قدرت تداوم داره هم در لبنان هم در فلسطین.
I just want people to be safe.
Is there any new concern about U.S. troops or assets?
وهنا بلا شك أننا نستنكر بشكل كبير جدا ونحذر من هذا الاستهداف غير المحسوب للمنشآت النووية ومنشآت الطاقة.
We will respond very seriously and strongly. And that is what we are doing now. Nobody should expect Iran to show any kind of restraint.
It's been another sleepless night in the Middle East as Israel and Iran exchange a barrage of airstrikes. A large hospital in Israel has been extensively damaged by Iranian missiles, while the Israel Defense Forces claim to have attacked more of Iran's nuclear sites, including the Arak heavy water reactor. Here's what we know so far. In the south of Israel, Soroka Hospital in Beersheba came under attack in the early hours of Thursday. Doctors reported a missile slammed into the facility almost immediately after air raid sirens went off, causing a loud explosion.
הנזק שנגרם הוא נזק רחב היקף, בעיקר למבנה שספג את הנפילה הישירה, ולכן אנחנו רוצים להיות זהירים.
The hospital said in a statement that the emergency room was treating several minor injuries. It's not just Soroka Medical Center that was hit. Residential buildings in Tel Aviv and other regions in Israel were struck, forcing residents to be evacuated.
We are currently evacuating minimal amount of patients. We have one serious patient with two more with minor injuries. We still have a lot of work behind me, as you can see, extracting patients from all the buildings, going door from door.
Israel's emergency services have said at least 65 people have been injured across the country. Meanwhile, in Iran, the Israeli military said its fighter jets targeted the inactive Arak heavy water facility. It claims the facility is designed to produce plutonium, which can be used to make nuclear weapons. Israel also claimed to have struck another site around Natanz, which is described as being related to Israel's nuclear program. Iranian officials have publicly said they were targeting a military site close to Soroka Hospital, not the medical center itself. They've also said the wave of overnight attacks were conducted in self-defense. But a senior Israeli official has accused Iran of deliberately targeting Soroka. The overnight strikes come at an unsettling time as President Donald Trump considers whether to directly involve the USA in Israel's operations. There have been reports that the US president has approved plans to attack Iran, but a formal decision is yet to be made. If Trump does give the US military the green light, the conflict could see a further escalation.
The conflict between Israel and Iran has escalated into its second week, with both countries exchanging airstrikes overnight, shaking cities across the region and leaving thousands of civilians fearing for their safety.
Right now, I'm very scared. This situation, it's horrible to me and to all my family.
Air raid sirens and daily attacks have forced many residents in Tel Aviv and other cities in Israel to seek refuge in underground train tunnels and bomb shelters.
The situation is not good. It's very stronger than missiles. It is any problem, it will be very difficult. That's why we're coming to sleep here.
Hundreds in Ramat Gan have brought mattresses, sleeping bags and pillows in an attempt to make this underground station feel like a home.
We need to survive, and I think I have never felt something like this. That's why we decided to go to sleep here, to feel that I will be safe during the night.
It was a morning where I fall down on the street while running to the shelter. So yeah, I decided that better to stay, like during the night, try to sleep and to have rest a little bit here in a safe space.
But even underground, safety isn't guaranteed. Iran's latest barrage of missiles has left a visible mark on Israeli streets, even when intercepted. CCTV footage appears to show the moment a missile hits the ground in Or Yehuda. Israelis who sought refuge in Cyprus have also begun returning to the country by cruise ship. The Crown Iris left on Thursday and is around 270 kilometers from Israel. Israel has made clear its mission to destroy Iran's nuclear program and eliminate potential threat of atomic weapons. In one retaliatory strike by Iran, scientists in Israel were caught in the crossfire when a research institution was hit.
I wish that a day will come very, very soon in which Iranian scientists and Israeli scientists would collaborate and work together and perform scientific research for the future of mankind.
The situation for many Iranian residents is just as devastating, but restrictions on state media mean much of their reality remains unseen. Iranians have also been fleeing the strikes, with many rushing to Turkey through this border crossing. At least 24 civilians have been killed in Israel, and more than 220 have died in Iran since the conflict started.
کودک و همه آتش مهار بشه و همونطور که مشاهده میکنید نیروهای امداد و نجات کاملا دارن سعی میکنن آتش رو مهار
unfortunately, we have heard that the U.S. may join this aggression. That would be very unfortunate, and I think that would be very, very dangerous for everybody.
Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated.
Israel has done truly amazing things. But in tonight's action against Iran's nuclear facilities, America has been truly unsurpassed. It has done what no other country on earth could do. History will record that President Trump acted to deny the world's most dangerous regime the world's most dangerous weapons.
לא מוע. בית חנן, בית עובד, לא נראה לי את זה.
יואו, איזה פחד.
מה, עינב?
שמור, איזה פחד.
אני מרגישה כרגע קצת בלחץ, קצת מחזיקים מעמד, אני לא יכולה להסביר את ההרגשה שלי.
לא טוב לנו המלחמת הזאת, שאנחנו לא מורגלים בזה, לא יכולים. המשק מושבת, הכלכלה מושבתת, כל המדינה מנוטרלת, אין לך לא יציאה לא כניסה. המשק במצב לא טוב.
אין לי ספק שזה משטר שרוצה לחסל אותנו, רוצה לחסל את קיומנו. ולכן יצאנו למבצע הזה לסלק את שני האיומים הקונקרטיים על קיומנו.
Iran's nuclear ambitions have been obliterated.
The US claims it has obliterated Iran's key nuclear sites in a massive and unprecedented attack. But just how much damage has been done? Here's what we know so far. Codenamed Operation Midnight Hammer, the highly coordinated assault relied on secrecy, speed, and the element of surprise. Over 125 aircraft, a submarine, and some of the most powerful weapons in the US arsenal were deployed. Among them, 7 B-2 stealth bombers, armed with 13-ton bunker buster bombs, designed to penetrate through the surface, then explode deep underground. It's one of the largest military operations carried out by the US in the past decade. The operation targeted 3 of Iran's most significant nuclear facilities: a uranium processing facility at Isfahan, a uranium enrichment plant in Natanz, which is mostly underground, and most significantly, Iran's most sophisticated nuclear site, Fordo, an underground tunnel complex buried 80 meters below a mountain. Fordo is thought to contain centrifuges capable of producing weapons-grade uranium for nuclear weapons. At midnight Iranian time, a US submarine launched over 24 Tomahawk cruise missiles at Isfahan. B-2 bombers then dropped 14 GBU-57 bombs, the most powerful non-nuclear bombs in the US military. The air offensive was over in just 25 minutes. These satellite images show the key sites before and after the attacks. The Isfahan site, already damaged by Israel, shows extensive new damage, including scorch marks, collapsed buildings, and debris scattered throughout the complex. At the Natanz enrichment facility, 2 craters are visible. While surface damage at Fordo seems minimal, a feature of bunker buster bombs, the real impact lies underground. Puncture marks and pale grey debris visible around the site suggest internal structures may have been breached. Ultimately, the true extent of the damage remains unclear, with both sides offering conflicting reports. The US has claimed that the 3 sites have been obliterated.
We devastated the Iranian nuclear program.
Iran, meanwhile, has downplayed the attack's success. Crucially, it's thought Iran preempted the attacks, possibly using cargo trucks to transport uranium materials away from Fordo. If that's the case, they may still have the capacity to make nuclear bombs elsewhere. So whilst the US may have crippled key facilities, Iran's ability to make a nuclear weapon might not be entirely neutralized. In response, Iran has threatened retaliation. Its military and political leaders have vowed a firm response, and missiles have already been fired towards Israel, with explosions heard over Tel Aviv. Meanwhile, the US has issued a stark warning.
Any retaliation by Iran against the United States of America will be met with force far greater than what was witnessed tonight.
And after welcoming the American strike, Israel has now launched further attacks near Fordo, targeting access routes. With tension soaring and the US directly intervening for the first time, this conflict looks far from over.
Iran has launched missiles at a US military base in Qatar in what it says is retaliation for American strikes on its nuclear program. The skies above Doha lit up overnight as air defense systems were activated. Footage shows panic inside one of the capital's major shopping malls. Here's what we know so far. Iranian missiles targeted Al Udeid Air Base just outside Doha, the largest US military installation in the Middle East. Iran's Revolutionary Guard claimed responsibility, calling it a direct response to Saturday's US airstrikes on its nuclear sites.
سپاه پاسداران انقلاب اسلامی با رمز مقدس یا ابا عبدالله الحسین علیه السلام در عملیات بشارت فتح پایگاه تروریستی آمریکا در العدید قطر را هدف تهاجم ویرانگر و قدرتمند موشکی قرار داد.
But there are conflicting accounts of how many missiles were launched. Iran said 6, US officials reported 14, Qatar reportedly said 19, all of which were intercepted before impact. No casualties have been confirmed, but the attack caused alarms across the capital. Iranian officials are reported to have notified Qatar in advance to avoid civilian casualties. In Washington, President Donald Trump said Tehran's warnings helped prevent any loss of life. He called the attack very weak and said Iran had gotten it out of their system. Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei responded by saying Iran had harmed no one, but would not tolerate threats to its sovereignty. Saturday's US airstrikes targeted 3 nuclear sites inside Iran, including facilities linked to uranium enrichment. Cross-border attacks between Iran and Israel continued over the weekend before a ceasefire took effect. The situation remains volatile, with all sides remaining cautious about whether the truce will hold.
You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that? I don't think so, but I'm not happy that Israel's going out now. There was one rocket that I guess was fired overboard. It was after the time limit, and it missed its target. And now Israel's going out. These guys got to calm down. It's ridiculous. I didn't like plenty of things I saw yesterday. I didn't like the fact that Israel unloaded right after we made the deal. They didn't have to unload. And I didn't like the fact that the retaliation was very strong. But in all fairness, Israel unloaded a lot. And now I hear Israel just went out because they felt it was violated by one rocket that didn't land anywhere. That's not what we want, I'll tell you. And I'm telling you, I'm not happy about that, Israel, either. All I do is play both sides. I'm going now, as you know, to NATO. Some of you are going with me, and I think it's going to be successful. We'll see. I'll let you know.
Are you going to see the agreement? It's a new dawn in the Middle East. Thanks to the agreement you managed to achieve. What are your future plans for the region, for Saudi Arabia, Israel, Gaza, the hostages?
Look, you're asking me about women in the Middle East. It's getting a lot better. Things are happening at a high level. As you know, Saudi Arabia's done a really good job. It's coming out far faster than I thought. So we're very happy about what's happening with women in the Middle East.
No, I'm talking about a new dawn in the Middle East that you managed to achieve last night.
Yeah.
The region is going to a new place with this agreement. Can you tell us what's your future plans for Gaza, for the hostages?
Yeah. It's a new dawn. I appreciate the question. You're very nice. Who are you?
Thank you. I'm Neria Cross from Israeli Channel 13 News.
Well, we have to have Israel calm down because they went on a mission this morning. I got to get Israel to calm down now.
Did you get to speak with the violence? Did you talk to Prime Minister Netanyahu last
I
night?
speak to everybody.
You urge both sides not to violate the ceasefire, but reports coming from the region suggest that the sides accuse each other for violating the ceasefire. So
I think they both violated it. I'm not sure they did it intentionally. They couldn't rein people back. I don't like the fact that Israel went out this morning at all, and I'm going to see if I can stop it. So as soon as I get away from you, I'm going to see if I can stop it, okay? I think it's been completely demolished. I think the reason we're here is because those pilots, those B-2 pilots, did an unbelievable job. And the fake news, like CNN in particular, they're trying to say, well, I agree that it was destroyed, but maybe not that destroyed. You know what they're doing? They're really hurting great pilots that put their lives in the line. CNN is scum, and so is MSDNC. They're all, and frankly, the networks aren't much better. It's all fake news, but they should not have done that. Those pilots hit their targets. Those targets were obliterated, and the pilots should be given credit. They're not after the pilots, they're after me. They want to try and demean. Iran will never rebuild its nuclear. From there? Absolutely not. That place is under rock. That place is demolished. The B-2 pilots did their job. They did it better than anybody could even imagine. They hit late in the evening. It was dark with no moon, and they hit that target with every one of those things, and that place is gone. But when I see CNN all night long, they're trying to say, well, maybe it wasn't really as demolished as we thought. It was demolished. You take a look at the pinpricks, and you see that place is gone. And I will say, I think CNN ought to apologize to the pilots of the B-2s. I think that MSDNC ought to apologize. I think these guys really, these networks and these cable networks are real losers. You really are. You're real losers. You're gutless losers. I say that to CNN because I watch it. I have no choice. I got to watch that garbage. It's all garbage. It's all fake news. But I think CNN is a gutless group of people. And the people that run it, nobody even knows it's been sold so many times. But the people that run it ought to be ashamed. MSDNC, a guy named Brian Roberts, he heads it. He's a disgrace. He's a weak, pathetic disgrace.
Iran violated the peace agreement and the ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran is still committed to peace?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too. Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the doing. Do you understand that?
Just days after one of the most audacious American military attacks in recent history, and hours after Iran launched missiles at a US airbase in Qatar, Donald Trump announced a ceasefire between Israel and Iran. But could this really be the end of the intensifying conflict between two major powers in the Middle East? Following escalating tensions, the US president announced that Israel and Iran had agreed to a complete and total ceasefire, signaling the end of what he dubbed the 12-day war. In a series of posts on his platform Truth Social, Trump claimed the epic ceasefire agreement could have only happened under his leadership. The shock announcement came shortly after Iran launched a limited missile attack on a US military base in Qatar. An Iranian state TV channel even claimed the ceasefire was imposed on the enemy after its attack on the US base. However, the fragile ceasefire is already in serious jeopardy. Just hours after Iran said it was willing to comply as long as Israel stopped its attacks, Israel accused Tehran of violating the ceasefire. Having initially agreed to the truce and stating it had achieved its objectives, Israel has since vowed to respond forcefully to Iran's alleged violation, taking aim at Tehran with what it says will be intense strikes. Iran has strongly denied firing any missiles towards Israel in the hours following the ceasefire. Despite both their claims, an angry Trump condemned both sides for violating the ceasefire. The US president said he is really unhappy with Israel, warning them not to drop any more bombs.
They violated it, but Israel violated it too. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
Following his run, Trump insisted the ceasefire is still in effect. Both sides initially accepted the deal after sending heavy barrages of missiles at each other overnight, with at least 4 killed in Israel and damage across Iran reported, leaving at least 9 dead. Nevertheless, ordinary people in both countries greeted the news of the ceasefire with cautious optimism.
You can't know
Only time will tell if it's gonna hold, if it's real, if it's not real. Who knows?
We are under attack. We are a country that is under attack. So we are sad and we are mad.
The tentative truce hangs in the balance.